What is up? Today, guys, we are looking at an article by Deadline named Baulders Gate TV series continuing game's story in works at HBO from The Last of Us co-creator Craig Mazin and Hasbro Entertainment. So, guys, I will say that I am a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I enjoy playing the tabletop, and I also enjoyed playing Baldur's Gate 3. I play a Dwarf Paladin. I'm a big fan of the Paladins. So, with that being said, The Last of Us is a great game, number one. Number two, I had no interest in. And I really did like the first one. I played the original one that came out, and then I played the remaster. When it comes to video game adaptations into TV shows, I'm not a huge fan of what they do kind of with the TV shows and movies. Anything that's taken away from a source material that's going into a movie or TV show or some sort of different media. I did not have any interest really in watching The Last of Us TV show. There was some changes I didn't care for, and I think the game is great alone, just alone as it is. There really doesn't really need to be a show, but money talks. So looks like the success, if you want to call it that, from The Last of Us show, season 1 and 2, looks like they're making a Baldur's Gate. So let's dive into this article and see what it's all about. So it starts with Greg Mason, co-creator of arguably the most acclaimed TV adaptation of a video game to date, HBO's The Last of Us, will be taking on another hugely popular and acclaimed game title next. Larian Studios' Baldur's Gate 3, which is set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. HBO is developing Baldur's Gate, a drama series based on Wizards of the Coast's video game franchise, with Mazin attached to create, write, executive produce, and showrun the TV adaptation. So they're putting a lot into this guy. They want him to write it, executive produce it, and he's pretty much the showrunner. So he's pretty much going to be the head honcho in this one, just like he was in The Last of Us. What I think about that, I'm not sure. I just didn't have any interest in The Last of Us. However, I'm hearing that it was a good adaptation to the game. It was a pretty good show. I don't know about season 3. I don't know where it's going, but I'm not going to say it sucks. He did good, so let's see. Also, exec producing Jacqueline Lesko, Cecile O'Connor, Hasbro Entertainment, Gabrielle Morano. Chris Perkins, the former longtime head of story at Hasbro subsidiary Wizards of the Coast, which is behind the D&D game universe, will serve as a consultant. So they got a lot of people that kind of, I guess, are into what's going on. I guess you're going to have your execs and you're going to have the Hasbro Entertainment. At least they got people from Hasbro. So, Hasbro, whatever. But let's see what's going on here. Unlike HBO's The Last of Us, which retold the story from the PlayStation games, the Baldur's Gate TV series will be a continuation to the games, telling a story that takes place immediately after the events of Baldur's Gate 3, as the characters, old and new, are dealing with the ramifications of the events in the third game. So, in Baldur's Gate 3, there's multiple endings. I'm not too sure how many endings there actually is, but there's multiple endings, so I'm kind of wondering what ending are they referring to? Is there a canon ending? Is there an actual main canon ending that I'm not knowing of? Because I don't care to tell you my ending. If you haven't played it, my ending was, whatever ending I had. So I'm not too sure what they mean about the ending of the game. And it says all 3 games. They said games. So let's move on. Like with The Last of Us, Mazin's passion for Baldur's Gate 3 and its characters led to his decision to adapt it into a TV series. He was proudly completed the Sven Venk developed game on the challenging honor mode, and he is also a longtime D&D fan, a dungeon master actually, who has been playing the game weekly for the past 15 years, including tonight. So I guess that's that okay, I can appreciate that. They actually have someone that has played the game, that actually did it in honor mode, which is a higher difficulty, and actually plays D&D tabletop and has been doing it for 15 years. That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. Getting someone that actually likes the source material and can stick with it, obviously there's going to be executives that are going to try and put different things in it, but this guy seems like he would be the guy for the job. After putting nearly 1,000 hours in the incredible world of Baldur's Gate 3, it is a dream come true to be able to continue the story that Larian and Wizards of the Coast created. Mason said, the creator of the show, or the upcoming show. I am a devoted fan of D&D in the brilliant way that Sven Vanek and his gifted team adapted it. I can't wait to help bring Baldur's Gate and all of its incredible characters to life with as much respect and love as we can, and I'm deeply grateful to Gabe Morano and his team at Hasbro for entrusting me with this incredibly important property. So they got the blessing from Hasbro, and this was his quote: 1,000 hours, that's a lot of time in the game. He's very passionate about it. Those are all good signs. So it says, with no ties to Baldur's Gate game in development, Mason has freedom over the direction of the story. He has freedom of the direction of the story. Well, I wonder, will he be going with the ending that he had in his story in his first playthrough? No, making it more of a traditional show versus The Last of Us, whose plot and lifespan was determined by the existing games. And that makes sense because in the game, you can actually, there's so many different decisions. In The Last of Us, there's an A and there's a B. From A to B, that's the story. That's what you're going to get. There's no decision making, and that changes the game, shapes the universe. But in this kind of game, there is. So it seems like he can do a lot with making up his own story, an original story inside the core base of Baldur's Gate 3. And it says, Baldur's Gate slated to be Mason's follow-up series for HBO, where he also created and executive produced the Emmy-winning Chernobyl. Chernobyl was actually a really good show. If you have not checked that out, look up Chernobyl, check that show out. That's another good sign. So very positive right now. Baldur's Gate is designed to be an ongoing and continue with different kinds of stories within the sprawling world of the game. The series draws deeply from the source material of Baldur's Gate 3. Very good. How it begins, how the game ends. I'm a source material guy. You know that. You've seen one of my videos. And not so much from the two games which are not official source material. Okay, so they're going to be taking a lot from Baldur's Gate 3, not 1 and 2. Still, there are some commonalities across those games that are connected to Dungeons & Dragons lore, which Mason plans to draw upon under the agreement with Wizards of the Coast. yes, you kind of have to stick with it. If you're going to take source material from a company, Hasbro is going to be like, hey, you have to put this in it. Unfortunately, you're going to have to abide by that, but still, it's still sounding pretty good. The TV series will feature both existing characters from Baldur's Gate 3 and new ones. It is expected to keep the D&D tradition of taking new characters who are not that powerful and follow their journey through adventures that can make them powerful. The new protagonists are bound to run into beloved characters from Baldur's Gate 3, some of them heroes, some of them villains, some of them literally devils who occupy the same world. Now incredibly powerful, they will meddle, helping or hindering the new heroes. That is pretty cool. So the characters, again, with the ending, I don't know who's alive in his campaign, but whoever's in it is more powerful, and he has original character he's going to make up for the show that's going to run into the characters from the game. I can dig that. So moving on, let's see here. Mason, who is just now starting in his own journey with the material as his deal just closed, plans to reach out to the voice cast members of Baldur's Gate 3 with ideas for them to participate in the TV adaptation, if possible. That's pretty cool. They're going to bring back people that did the voice acting. He and The Last of Us co-creator Neil Druckmann did it on their HBO series with several actors from that game, most notably Meryl Dandridge, who reprised her role as Marlene. Okay, so they've done it before. They can maybe do it again. So let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. We'll skip all this. Sounding pretty good. So to wrap it up, it says, part of Dungeons & Dragons franchise, the Baldur's Gate character-driven role-playing video game series originated in 98 and became known for its mature setting of crime, political intrigue, and edgy adventure, which is Baldur's Gate 1. The most recent game, Baldur's Gate 3, launched to massive critical and commercial success with over 15 million lifetime players, over 34 industry industry awarded wins and made history as the first game to win all 5 major Game of the Year awards. So, with that being said, I am looking forward to whatever updates Baldur's Gate 3 has, if they are coming more updates. I'm actually going to be playing again with a friend. He hasn't played it yet, so in about a month I'm going to be playing with him. And pertaining to the show, I'm not a huge fan, like I said, into video games that are made into TV shows and movies. However, this does sound promising. I hope they don't mess it up. I hope they don't put silly stuff in it that doesn't need to be there. And I just hope they can make a good story within the original story and just make a good show. And then we can see what happens after that. Okay, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you're interested in more videos like this pertaining to the geek culture, video games, movies, comics, anything like that, just hit the subscribe button so you know when I get a new video out. Also, leave a like. It helps the video out, or dislike. If you didn't like anything in the video, you didn't like what I said, leave a dislike and a comment. It always helps out. So, guys, let me know what you think about this update. Dungeons & Dragons, Baldur's Gate 3, a show coming. The movie was pretty good. I like the movie. Let's see what the show can do. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Bye.